to the table where everybody eat. Now, there's one thing I ask of you and two things I suggest. Hit that like button for your boy. Then hit that subscribe button and notification bell. That way you miss out on the plays and updates we bring to you guys each and every day in the market. Now, today we're talking about CoreWeave Incorporated, ticker symbol CRWV, which is one of the hottest names in the AI infrastructure space, especially with the backing and partial cosign from NVIDIA. Now, CoreWeave closed at $103.04 on August 28, 2025, the last trading day of August. After this stock spiked up, gapped up from roughly 96 and maybe $97 to as high as I believe $105 yesterday, pulled all the way back down to that 96, $97 range, and then here we are at that 103.04, which we made a bag on this today in the Discord Everybody Eats. Link will be below in the description and pinned in the top of the chat. But in our option plays, roughly an hour after market open, I alerted the group and told them CoreWeave $98 call, 85 cent, 0 DTE, and this thing went as high as $5.03, basically $503, nearly 600% on the day. Now, myself, I closed out of that position at, I believe, a little over 100%, but I held on to some runners that I didn't post in the option plays because it was a little more risky and I didn't want anybody to lose any money on this one right here. But I jumped in a 101 core weave call as well when I seen how the momentum was going once we got above $98.85. And these contracts here went as high as 751%. Yeah. We made a bag on Meta to the downside, which I have been trying to do for roughly 2 weeks or so now. But if I was to go over to hot stocks, you will see I told them about CoreWeave in that $98.85 area. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. There we go. On August 22nd, 2025, I told them that we got the move we wanted, but that $98 zone is surely an area of supply as we lost momentum there today. I see $95.72 as our next level amount before we test $98.85 again, followed by that cycle level of $100. I am still super bullish for this company as nothing has changed in regards to their fundamentals. So, like I say, link will be below in the description and pinned in the top of the chat for the Discord community, as well as my profile on X or Twitter, where I post what I'm looking at in the market, things I see, different charts, etc. You know what I mean? Shout out my guy Ian over there at Best Fest. Heard he shut it down, you know what I mean? But yeah, link is below in the description and pinned in the top of the chat. Now, back to CoreWeave Incorporated, ticker symbol CRWV. If you are familiar with this ticker or this stock in particular, so say, and you already know the buying opportunity that CoreWeave had presented to all of us investors, retail and institution. And this article right here from August 21st stated how CoreWeave's meltdown triggered strong buying opportunity as Q4 2025 may be rewarding. And although this stock's in a massive decline from its all-time highs, I believe nearly 50%, as well as a 40% decline after their latest earnings release, going from as high as I believe like 148 or so to as low as $83 a share. CoreWeave's IPO lockup expiry, which happened, I believe, on August 15th after their earnings, is another factor that caused this stock to pull back drastically and triggered the much needed correction from June 2025 heights as it finally nears out at fair value estimates. Now, they say thanks to clarity from the new customer wins, the growing multi year backlog, and the intense capex, they believe that the management is likely to deliver the ambitious growth targets. For now, CoreWeave's lumpy profit margin performance and increased debt reliance are not causes for concern, since these are typical pains for most high growth startup companies. Thanks to the ongoing correction, the stock appears to be extremely compelling at their estimated fiscal year 2027 EV sales evaluations of 3.48 times while triggering their upgraded strong buy rating. And then they say, good things come to those who wait after all, which is true. However, on the other hand, it is undeniable that CoreWeave remains somewhat expensive compared to its hyperscalers neocloud peers, including Amazon, Alphabet, aka Google, DigitalOcean, Rackspace, and Microsoft. Aside from Nebius, I believe their ticker symbol is NBIS, who also has a very high valuation. And even with that high evaluation, there still is a buy rating with a price target of $109.18. Now, that is the consensus price target because, as you see right here on August 27th, Cantor Fitzgerald initiated a buy rating of $116 per share. But on August 21st, there were two companies, although this one only says one, so we'll go with this one right here. On August 21st, H.C. Wainwright and Co upgraded their rating from a hold to a strong buy with a price target of $180. And I believe another institution initiated a buy rating on the same day of about $180. Now we see right here that Moffitt Nathanson, that firm, has a hold rating and their price target is $56 to $65. There's always that one company or firm or some investor that missed out on the move and they want their price. So therefore, they go ahead and give us this crazy buy rate. And as you see right now, we are way over that $56 to 65 cent price rating, which means that this stock will have to decline over 33 or 35% for that to happen. Now we have Argus Research reiterating a strong buy, and their price target is $200 per share as of August 14th. And then B of A Securities still has a hold rating. However, their price target went down from 185 to 168. So even though this company has a high valuation, you see analysts, institutions, and even retail is loading up on this stock. In addition to who we already know, NVIDIA, in which I believe CoreWeave is their largest holding, about 90% of their allocated funds. Bringing me to this point here, CoreWeave's top two customers account for nearly 80% of their revenue, with Microsoft Corporation likely being the largest customer, according to Blakely. However, the growth trends among CoreWeave's top customers are robust, driving near-term comfort in CoreWeave's forecast and customer concentration, he wrote. NVIDIA Corp is also a customer and strategic partner and was an investor in CoreWeave's March initial public offering, solidifying the company's competitive advantage and providing CoreWeave with close access to the newest GPU hardware. And if any of you guys recall NVIDIA's GCT or GTC conference, I forgot what it was called, my bad, back in March, CoreWeave was plastered everywhere. I mean, they had them on billboards, they had them on backdrops, they kept bringing up CoreWeave the whole entire time. Now, before we get into the charts, and I bring you guys into my world and let you see what I see in regards to CoreWeave, ticker symbol CRWV, here is some highlights from that second quarter 2025 earnings. They had key customer wins across AI labs, hyperscalers, and enterprises, starting with a $4 billion expansion deal with OpenAI. And this is in addition to the previously announced $11.9 billion deal. They got new hyperscaler customers signed and expanded in the quarter. AI labs and enterprises, including BT Group, Cohere, Hippocratic AI, Hologen, Mr. Moon Valley, and Woven by Toyota. And they also are the official AI cloud computing partner of the Aston Martin Aramco Formula One team. CoreWeave continued rapid scaling of their purpose-built AI infrastructure. They ended the quarter with approximately 470 megawatts of active power, and they increased total contracted power approximately 600 megawatts to 2.2 gigawatts. They continue to drive their technology leadership position across platform, enabling leading AI companies to unleash AI's potential. Again, being the first to bring NVIDIA's GP200 systems online for customers at scale with AI frontier companies like Cohere, IBM, and Mistral AI. And they announced general availability of B200 based instances. CoreWeave also delivered the largest ever ML-Perf training VO submission utilizing NVIDIA's Blackwell GP200 instances. The breakthrough submission was 34 times larger than other submissions and 4.5 times more performant than the best GP200 submissions from any other enterprise. Which brings us to the spicy stuff, which you guys have been waiting for, and that is the daily chart. And as you see right here on the daily chart, off rip, what I like is the MACD has now crossed above the signal line, and it crossed above the signal line right here when we got this massive pop. It's that gap up I was talking about from August 27th into August 28th. But one thing I also noticed is how we filled the gap to the downside, but not only did we fill the gap to the downside, hold up, let's zoom in a bit. I bet. So not only did we fill this gap to the downside, we came and sat right on top of this wick right here from Thursday, August 21st. So that area there held that support and it slightly held on the body of this candle, the body of that candle, but also this here was where this candle stopped at on August 18th. So that's a pure sign for me that we could continue to go higher. Although we have the 50 SMA on the daily curling down, it could easily present something like this, where it comes down slightly, then eventually find support, and then go up, or it could just start curling from here at this point here and stay on top of that fair value gap, so say. Now, going down to the 4 hour time frame, on the 4 hour time frame, we've been had this cross up of the MACD and the signal line, which happened on Tuesday of this week. And then the following day, right here, on August 27th, that market opened. You see how we opened right above that sniper fair value gap that I have right there. And the 50 SMA is already finding support at this 105.10 area, just like I expected the daily chart to find support of that type of fair value gap above. Now, the buying momentum, or let's just say the bulls, are in full control, if you ask me, of this ticker symbol. And if and once we get above this 105.10, but surely get above that 50 SMA, which is around that 106.87, I believe this stock can easily shoot up to that 118, 119 range. And then before you know it, be back around that 124.99, basically $125 a share. But we're going to slow down and just go with price action before we jump the gun and make all these crazy expectations or speculations about CoreWeave Incorporated. Bringing me to the hour chart, and let's reset this thing real quick because we are too close. All right, that's better. I could dig it. Now, once again, you see what I'll be looking at or looking for with that 50 SMA. On the hour time frame, you see how the 50 SMA was a rejection spot a couple of times for us, such as right here, as well as that 98.85 zone. That's where I got that from. If you guys was weren't curious about the 98.85 zone, but then we also rejected the 50 SMA again right here. But then it came down to it right here. What day is this? August 27th. We ended up finding support, or not even support. We ended up getting above that 50 SMA right about there on that particular candle. And ever since then, we have been going upward. But the 50 SMA also is respecting this sniper fair value gap right here and now curling upward. So if we can continue this momentum, although the MACD is red, we're still in positive territory. If the MACD cross back above that signal line, and again, this thing could go higher, but first we got to get above that 105.10 zone, and then we'll go possibly to this 112, bottom of that sniper fair value gap. Actually, again, let me slow down. We definitely got, let's just go with that right there, that 109 area. We get above 109, and then that's what we could battle between 109, 113. But again, I'm gonna keep it slow, keep it simple, and we'll go down to a lower time frame for intraday traders such as myself and whoever else watching this clip. Boy, is this lovely right here. Look at that right there. We could just move this arrow over and go right here. Bow. Look at that, boy. So this here is that gap up on Wednesday, August 27th, like I had mentioned, into Thursday. So this was that gap up right there, and we gapped up like crazy. But when we came back down, not only did we fill this gap, and retest that 96.18 zone. Not only retest the 98.16 zone right there, we bounced off of that 50 SMA on the 30-minute time frame. I mean, just so lovely. Like you can't even make this up. That's why you got to go with TA. Not all the time, but for the most part, TA and the charts they never lie. So now what I'm looking at is how the 50 SMA is curling upward. We held that thing to a T. And now I see right now we basically the gap down we had this morning, we didn't fill that gap up. This is a lower high at this point, but at the end of the day, if we continue higher and get above that 105.10 on Tuesday, because Monday is Labor Day and the market is closed, then that will give us our higher high. We already made higher low from this low right here to now this low here. So that looks good to me. Also, this MACD is crossing back above the signal line right here. So if that could continue, like I said, man, we could easily head above that 105.10 into 109. Let's just say 111 to 113. My ultimate target in the near term is definitely like 118 to 119, and that's about it, man. So that's what I got for you guys with ticker symbol CRWV. Remember, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video to your peoples, man. But much love. We out.